with the company involved in a legal battle against the World Wildlife Fund for the worldwide use of the WWF initials over the past several years. What originally seemed like an impossible scenario was quickly becoming a reality behind the scenes, with the WWF preparing in the background for being forced into one of the most significant moves in company history, taking out several trademarks in case of the situation escalating further, including WWE World Wrestling Entertainment and every website domain with the initials WWE, including first indication of what's to come with some of the advertising for the new WrestleMania 18 GameCube video game already shown as World Wrestling Entertainment, with the show tonight historically ending up the final ever WWF Raw, kicking off with Eddie Guerrero vs Jeff Hardy going 7 minutes for the IC title, with the show also coming a day after the death of one of the most historically significant wrestlers in history, with Lou Thesz passing away Sunday morning, and with one of Thesz's most memorable matches in the TV world of the 50s in Japan famously drawing an 87 rating. Raw's first quarter started with a 4 rating for the Guerrero vs Hardy match, followed by Steve Austin arriving to the building to go straight to the ring, responding to last Monday's turn, which saw Big Show turning heel to rejoin the NWO, calling out Ric Flair for setting him up with Show as partner in the continuation of the build-up to Flair's turn, with Austin demanding a match against Show tonight to bring out Flair, saying that the match can't happen tonight with Show on a promotional tour in India, as Flair, who already started to get mixed reaction from the crowd in the setup to the eventual heel run, instead booking Austin in the same match he was scheduled for last Monday with Austin and Bradshaw against the NWO, with the only change being putting himself as the special referee to bump Raw over 500,000 viewers in the second quarter. Raw followed up the Austin Flair segment with another comedic Booker and Goldust backstage skit after last week saw them doing a movie review of The Scorpion King, with the company liking their chemistry to make their skits a weekly feature on Raw going forward, with the movie after the record-breaking opening weekend remaining strong to maintain the top spot as the highest-grossing movie in the second week of its release in the box office, with Rock, who is set to make his in-ring return this Saturday for a rare house show appearance near his hometown, saying in his most recent interview that he should be back on WWF television in around 2 months, with Booker vs RVD next going 3 minutes, with Goldust accidentally costing Booker the match while setting up the eventual Van Dam vs Guerrero rematch, with both going over with a frog splash in the last 30 minutes. Along with Bradshaw hyping the tag match for later tonight while revealing that Big Show was the one who attacked him backstage last Monday, closing the first hour with the Brock Lesnar experiment continuing, this time in a match against Shawn Stasiak going 2 minutes, and in perhaps what the company would hope to be the first drawing or curiosity indication since his TV debut. The Lesnar match bumped Raw over 500,000 viewers to a first-hour high 4.4 rating. Steve Austin and Bradshaw against the NWO, Scott Hall and X-Pac in the match that was promoted to headline last Monday's Raw kicked off the second hour with the added star power of Ric Flair as the special referee, seeing the match going 8 minutes to continue the Austin-Flair storyline, with Flair, as he did to Austin at Backlash, mistakenly counting the fall for him for the finish with X-Pac's foot on the ropes, as the Austin vs Flair dynamic that the Raw brand was built around since the start of the split continued to deliver on the night, with the match seeing Raw jumping over 800,000 viewers at the top of the hour quarter to a peak 5 rating with over 6.3 million viewers, making it 4 out of the last 5 weeks since the exclusive Raw era started on April 1 that Flair and Austin are driving the highest rated segment of the night. with the match also seeing the political dynamic developing behind the scenes in the past several months, with Austin unusually placed midway through the broadcast with Hogan's match against Regal set to close the show in the main event. Minutes after the peak rating for the tag match, Raw attempted to maintain its usual top-of-the-hour spike with another high-profile segment with Undertaker, as he hyped minutes earlier coming out to call out Hogan to the ring in a promo building up their pay-per-view title match, saying that unlike Rock and Triple H, he's not impressed by his presence as he was here during Hogan's original run in the company in the early 90s. Noting that he beat him in the past when Hogan was in his prime, with Taker winning his first WWF title from Hogan in November 1991, bringing out Hogan for the response, with Hogan and Taker going face-to-face in the build to the Judgment Day pay-per-view headliner in what is set to be their first match in over a decade, seeing Hogan getting the first shot with Taker backing off 3 weeks to the pay-per-view, with Hogan whose recent numbers are starting to indicate that his massive momentum is cooling off since winning the title as compared to the month prior. In addition to headlining the show tonight, is also set for a major main event match against Chris Jericho for the title on SmackDown, hyped since last Thursday, with Raw after drawing stronger than expected over the past month, including Vince McMahon specifically mentioning in a website interview last week that he's ecstatic with how strong the Raw numbers held since the split, seeing the second hour on the night taking a hit compared to its recent average to 5.7 million viewers in the least watched 10 to 11 p.m. hour so far in 2002. Raw saw Flair announcing the Raw main event for next Monday with a 6-man tag match of him teaming with Austin and Bradshaw, before going with a different strategy heading into the final quarter, with the formatting practically intentionally sacrificing it with 2 lengthy commercial breaks and recap videos, followed by a 2-minute throwaway Goldust vs Spike Dudley match placed in the middle, resulting in it taking the expected hit to drop to a 4.3 rating. With perhaps the big story on the night coming minutes later, as with an unusual situation seeing the Raw broadcast crossing into the overrun while still in a commercial break just before the promoted Hogan vs Regal main event. In an almost unheard of situation that almost seemed like a Nielsen technical error, the 8-minute overrun saw Raw dropping further to end the show at a 4.1 rating and one of the lowest rated overrun numbers since Raw started to go past 11 p.m. in mid-1998, with perhaps the only explanation for the drop being that viewers switched to Raw at 11 p.m. thinking that the show was over when seeing it still in a commercial break, as the Hogan vs Regal match ended before it started to set up a strong heat angle with Taker interfering to lay out Hogan for the finish, as Raw overall dropped below the 6 million viewers range for the first time since the brand split started, with the company hoping to rebound from the past 4 days of below-average numbers this Thursday, built up with a more advertised than usual SmackDown for the start of May TV sweeps with a full week of hype for the first Hogan vs Jericho match.